door unlocked her.
Oh, is there
No,
something
I didn't see that.
I
didn't see any of the pictures. I think Maria's 7.
Yeah, there were some small problems.
It's a little Ellen thing. It's a little Ellen key, isn't
A little shortening. John's on vacation.
it? Is there one in the desk?
Keith?
Little Ellen? Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Educators.
Welcome home.
Welcome home, where you been?
It's already on the agenda. Yeah. So. So then after we go on present, I'll meet in executive session.
Are you down on the number?
Four. Personal matter.
Do you live up in this area now? Oh, serious? Wow. All right, so just let me know when you're ready and Derek will start it.
Are they gonna? Do they need that countdown like the first time?
Do you want to do a countdown, like the first time I want to? Okay.
Good.
Okay. He has a placeholder up, so as soon as you say go, he can just start it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we don't need to count.
And you have yours. All right, is everybody ready? Is everybody ready? What do they do in the classroom? Try to do just a little clap. So. All right, go.
Go. Thank you, Derek.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since this is our annual reorganizational meeting, the first item of business is to administer the oath to the district clerk. So Michelle, if you would stand and read that, please.
I sure will. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk for the Watertown City School District of the City of Watertown to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And now you get to administer the oath to the newly elected board member and superintendent.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the re-elected official for the Watertown City School District for the City of Watertown to the best of my ability.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Superintendent of Schools for the Watertown City School District of the City of Watertown to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. And now I'm going to turn the meeting over to our district clerk, who will lead the election of officers.
Yes, I will now accept nominations for the position of President of the Board of Education.
I nominate Maria Massaris.
Is there a second?
I second.
Are there any other nominations? If not, nominations are closed and a vote will be taken. All those in favor of Maria Massaris for president?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Maria Maceras is elected president for the coming year. I'll now accept nominations for the position of vice president.
I nominate Michael Strupen.
Is there a second?
Nancy Henny.
Are there any other nominations? If not, nominations are closed and a vote will be taken. All those in favor of Michael Strupen for vice president?
Aye.
Any opposed? Michael Strupen is elected vice president for the coming year. Now we have Maria's hand on my list.
Together, separately?
Sure, we'll go together.
Awesome.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of
President, Board of Education
Vice President, Board of Education
for the
Watertown City School District of the City of Watertown to the best of my ability.
They're all yours.
Appreciate it.
Michael, I'll change seats with you.
I feel like it just went to the principal's office.
At least you're still on that side.
CH.
Okay. Michelle, is there any agenda changes?
No changes.
Okay. Public comments. I believe we have one.
Okay, so
State your name and address for the record.
my name is Richard Morris. I live at 180 Dorsey Street, Watertown, New York. I'm the president of the Watertown Education Association. That is the WEA. WEA would like to congratulate Maria Maceras, Jason Harrington on their election to continue serving on the Board of Education. We appreciate their hard work in the past. Their dedication and commitment will be a compliment to the Board of Education as the Board of Education confronts the challenges resulting from COVID-19. Last month, WEA had prepared a statement regarding planned massive staffing changes in the district and the complete lack of WEA inclusion at any stage of the process. WEA was disappointed that we were not able to share our statement publicly at the last Board of Education meeting. It is our understanding that the statement was shared with the Board of Education during the executive session. We want to make it clear that our sentiments have not changed. As we all know, shared decision-making that incorporates the expertise of the stakeholders is the best way to build an awesome team. We are anticipating working with the Watertown City School District and planning the reopening of school during COVID-19. WA expects to be included on the team so that well thought out decisions can be made by the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Any communications? Looks like we don't have any board and staff reports, is that correct?
No.
Items for consent agenda then.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the following consent agenda items. Number 1, appointment of officers. Number 2, other appointments. Number 3, designations. Number 4, authorizations. Number 5, official undertakings and bonds. And number 6, other.
May I have a motion, please?
Susie.
And second?
Beth.
Any discussion? I hope everyone wants a chance to read through that. It's an awfully long list of things.
Are there any that you would like to highlight that represent changes? I mean, I know most, if not all of these are probably year to year.
I think that we've cleaned up some things that usually have happened periodically throughout the year. Like if you look at the substance abuse resource officers, I believe it was like last October. So we tried to do things like on an annual basis and kind of get everything streamlined. There are a couple of the things coming up later for the safety plan, and that didn't all take place yet because COVID-19 kind of threw a wrench in some of that. But I think that we've cleaned up some things that we've done throughout the year to make it more streamlined.
Okay.
And if you look under Committee on Special Education, we've gone to creating a set of coordinator and a co-coordinator. We've looked at, streamlining that to coordinators instead of one coordinator and one co-coordinator.
Okay.
Other than that, I think everything else looks. Yeah, and the claims auditor will be addressed later because we've had to hire a person, so we couldn't do that at this point.
Okay.
That should be it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the Watertown City School District hereby approves the participation in the St. Lawrence Lewis BOCES cooperative purchasing programs in accordance with the guidelines set forth in the cooperative purchasing agreement for the 2020-21 school year.
Do I have a motion?
Go ahead.
And a second?
Susie?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the Board of Education hereby approves the AS7 contract for services provided by Jeff Lewis BOCES for the 2020-21 school year.
Can I get a motion, please?
Michael.
Second?
And
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Resolved that the payment of dues for the 2020-21 school year for the Jeff Lewis School Boards Association is hereby approved.
I have a motion, please.
Beth.
And a second?
Go ahead.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the payment of dues for the 2020-21 school year to the National Association for Federally Impacted Schools is hereby approved.
Can I get a motion?
Susie?
That's Susie. Thank you.
What does membership in this association do for us?
Which one are we on? Jeff Lewis School Boards?
National
Thank you.
Association.
I'm sorry, which one?
Federally
Oh, the
impacted
federally
schools.
funding. So Stacy does a tremendous amount of work with the impact aid, and that gives us access, to that as an additional resource. And most of the schools like Indian River that participate, they belong to this as well. It's another level of support for our team.
Is there any sense that impact aid will be impacted itself by COVID or the associated challenges with funding across the board and all? Any sense of that?
The funding actually operates, so we filled out the application for 1920 as of last year, but we were only receiving funding for 18-19. It runs a year's lag. So it should not be impacted for this coming year, but that remains to be seen for when we fill out the 2021 application and the 1920 funding comes through. So.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the superintendent of schools is authorized to make the application under PL 874 impact aid for the 2020-21 school year. The associated dues from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021 are hereby approved.
I have a motion, please.
Michael.
Second?
Yes.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whereas that after public advertising for items for the school nutrition department, bids have been received and are hereby awarded for the furnishing of the following products for the 2020-21 school year. Milk and juice, Frenzy Brothers, Watertown, New York. Paper and supplies, Hill and Marks, Amsterdam, New York. Resolved that the school business manager is authorized to issue the orders accordingly.
Can we get a motion, please?
Coley.
And a second? Any questions? Actually, I have a quick question. I don't know, Josh, if you can answer this, like the milk and juice, has that increased because of COVID, or is it still pretty much on par with?
No, it increased more. There were 2 suppliers and now there's only one up here. I think it was Upstate and I forget who the other one was. But now they've adjusted us to more closely align with everyone else. We're still cheaper than downstate, but our prices did go up. Okay. And they both amounted to essentially one bid. Only one bidder on each of those met the actual spec. There was another one, but they couldn't make the deliveries on a daily basis that we need.
Okay. What kind of paper products is that?
Oh, it should be in our packet, but it's all of your, I think it's all of your napkins, paper plates, your cups, your that type of stuff.
That's not on the statewide BOCE spec?
Not all of the stuff that's on this one. And then our masks or gloves were no bid because of not sure they want to commit to a price, not knowing the actual supply that's going to be out there. So I have the list here somewhere.
Just a question.
I can send it over.
It's in the packet. Maybe we'll put that.
All right, what are some of these gloves?
Straws. Those were the ones that were no bid. Yeah, straws, cups, souffle cups, styrofoam stuff.
Nancy, you okay?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else? Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whereas the Board of Education has approved for piggybacking on federal, New York State, county, and local municipality contracts at the annual reorganization meeting, whereas Thomas Trash Services was awarded bid number 20-04 for Jefferson County. Therefore, it be resolved that the district will contract with Thomas Trash Services for the 2021 school year at the price not to exceed $75,000 is hereby approved.
Can I get a motion, please?
Susie?
A second?
Michael?
Any questions or comments?
This is going into our 3rd year with them. Does that sound right?
At least second, I'm not sure prior to that.
Second.
So we're piggybacking off of Jefferson County's contract.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that as part of the New York State Disaster Evacuation Plan, the Watertown City School District's covenant and agree to secondary temporary holding areas between the schools and the following: Knickerbocker Elementary School and a New Way Assembly of God, North Elementary School and Starbucks School, and Sacred Heart School, North Elementary School and Starbucks School, and the Watertown Industrial Center, Sherman Elementary School and Stone Presbyterian Church, H.T. Wiley Intermediate School and IHC Senior High School, Case Middle School and IHC High School, Case Middle School and First Presbyterian Church, Watertown High School and Trinity Episcopal Church, Samaritan Summit Village Assisted Living, and Watertown High School. Be it resolved that the above reference agreements are hereby approved.
Can I get a motion, please?
Beth?
A second?
Coley.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carries. Resolved that the disposal, recycle, or donation of damaged, outdated, and unused books and videos from the libraries of North Elementary, Starbuck Elementary, H.T. Wiley, and Knickerbocker Elementary Schools is hereby approved.
Get a motion, please.
Susie.
And a second.
Michael.
Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, Patricia B. Clark, the Board of Education hereby approves the following: retirement, resignations, appointment, term non-probationary, permanent part-time, provisional, summer school, non-instructional substitutes, coaching for boys, coaching for girls.
We get a motion, please.
Cody.
Second.
Beth.
Comments or questions?
So are we 100%, or is this just we're approving for fall sports just in case? And then if we have to back test like we did before?
Yes, correct.
Are we doing less fall sports than usual?
We're status quo unless we hear something differently. Section 3 in the New York State Public High School Athletic Association, there's many different scenarios out there, but they haven't landed on which one yet. And I think we're just waiting for some guidance from the state on what to do. But there's several different scenarios.
Well, hopefully those kids can get back out there.
Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that in accordance with School Board Policy 2101, annual organizational meeting, Yvonne Sawyer is hereby appointed as claim auditor for the school year 2020-2021 and thereafter until the next organizational meeting in the Board of Education, subject however to the early termination of such appointments at the pleasure of the board.
Can I get a motion, please?
Michael.
Michael, and is that Beth over there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Be it resolved that the Watertown City School District hereby establishes the following as standard work days for elected and appointed officials and will report the following days worked to the New York State and local employees retirement system based on the record of activities maintained and submitted by the officials to the clerk of this board.
Can I get a motion, please?
Susie.
In a second.
Cody.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that the Watertown City School District will combine with the Alexandria Central School District's varsity girls hockey team for the 2020-21 school year is hereby approved.
Can I get a motion, please?
Beth.
In a second.
Nancy.
Questions or comments? Alex, I always done girls hockey.
I'm trying to remember, yeah.
But what are they known as? Is it a blended team? Are they known as Watertown? Are they known as North Country Skeeters?
No, I think we just had this discussion the other day.
We play under their color.
Yeah, we play under their colors.
Right.
It's like when our boys.
Happens to be the same color, which is nice.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved that a donation from an anonymous donor for $118 to Watertown High FFA is gratefully accepted and approved.
Got a motion.
Susie.
In a second.
Beth.
Any comments or questions? Thank you to whoever the anonymous donor is.
Is the 118 significant for something they needed to purchase? So like why not round it up to 120?
Right.
Yes, thank you.
That's how much money they raised, and that's how much.
Greatly appreciated. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That is the end of the resolution.
All right, so moving on,
This isn't banned yet.
Oh,
Sorry.
nope.
This is not an actual resolution, but it's a election of the official delegate and alternate to attend the New York State School Boards Association meeting in October 20.
So we don't know yet if is it half and half, have they said yet?
I don't think they've made a decision about virtual versus in-person or both. But it would appear that we would have the option of being represented virtually.
Anybody hankering to be a delegate this year?
What are the responsibilities of a delegate? You show up?
No, actually, there's a business meeting.
Yes.
You know, if you were going to the convention in ordinary times, there's a lot of sessions, keynote speakers, presentations, displays, et cetera, et cetera. But then the last morning is an actual business meeting where motions go forward that have been offered by member school districts. And so they have to have a quorum to vote on those things, so, you know, a lot of times people don't want to do that because it's the last thing and they want to get home, and sometimes it takes a long time. But if we're doing this virtually, then, you know, it's a couple hours commitment to sit through the business and listen.
Do we know what day that would be on? Is that a Sunday or?
Usually a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
It's usually the Saturday for the business meeting.
I think they've been doing Thursday to Saturday, yeah. So,
Okay.
Saturday.
No, makes a difference for anybody.
Do you know what days now?
Third weekend?
All right, who can get there the fastest?
It's October 29th through the 31st. October 29th through the 31st.
Okay. I can do it if no one else is interested.
I mean, I would do it too, but if it's virtual, I'll go freaking nuts. I don't have that attention span, sorry.
So I'll tell
Do you
you what,
want to be my alternate?
Okay.
I was just gonna suggest that. Beth will be our official delegate and NPR will be our alternate, and let's hope Beth doesn't get sick
In
that day.
person, I can do okay.
Well, even if I'm sick that day, it's virtual, you know?
If we sat down next to each other, it might be.
Next, we have the election of a member and an alternate of the Board of Education to serve on the executive committee of the Jefferson Lewis School Boards Association. Interest in that.
Does anybody need more background on what that means? Because it sounds really important to call it the executive committee, but that's representatives from all the school districts that are members of the Jeff Lewis School Boards. It's not actual officers. So it just means when they have either an annual meeting or a dessert meeting or something like that, if there's a meeting, then you would be the one that stayed and voted. So it's a couple of meetings a year in ordinary times.
I'll do it. Okay. Thank you. Anyone interested in the alternate?
Put Jason down. Not here to defend himself.
I can certainly, I'll take the alternate position, I've done it in the past, so that's how we do it. Okay. All right, so items for discussion or information. District credit cards?
Yeah, the report Should be in there every year. It just gives you guys the list of who has
has
which
them?
cards, yeah.
We need to
Gets
do anything
updated
with
every
it?
year.
No, it's just for you to see, to be transparent. If you have any questions.
Then Patty, it is to you.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for attending the senior parade for those of you that were able to do so. It was a real pleasure to be there. The weather held out on that Sunday, and I've had a lot of positive feedback. The kids and the parents, I got some emails and some calls, and just a few notes that people really appreciated the community celebrating the seniors in that way. And in fact, they felt very special and thought going forward, some of the things that happened this year should be taken into consideration and become part of a tradition in years going forward. And I did say that after all of the things that we've come forward with this year, next year's graduation is going to be kind of hard to top, because having the opportunity to come in with your parent and go on the stage and have like a family picture taken and then being part of the virtual ceremony, it was very well done. So I'd also like to thank, and without missing anyone's name, I'd just like to thank the entire team for all of the effort and work that went into the virtual ceremony as well as the parade, because I think it was extremely well done, and it went quite well. Moving on, we are going to have our own Watertown City School District Reopening Task Force, and our first meeting will be next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And we'd like to know if any one of the board members would like to be part of that committee.
I'm available.
I'm also available.
How long do you see this?
So the first meeting will be no more than 90 minutes. It'll be just an introduction to, we're hoping that New York State comes out with some guidance on July 13th. But whether they do or they don't, we need to start going forward. We've done a lot behind the scenes. Stacy, Tina, Josh, and I have, but moving forward, we now need to include more of our team members into this plan, so that we're ready for whatever happens in September, whether we reopen completely or partially with blended. We just need to get a team together. So we don't anticipate the commitment to be, too deep, because it will dive into the initial meeting for 90 minutes, and then we talked about subcommittees, and the subcommittees will meet, a few times. Then the big committee will come back together the following week just to see where we're at. So I don't anticipate, what do you think, 4 to 6 meetings?
But it would be done by the time school opens.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Maria, if you want to do that, it's fine.
So Maria, you good? All right, so next Tuesday then at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you. We're also, with that, we're working on the district safety plan. We'll be coming back to that and doing a talk in, I believe we usually do that in August, give you an update. Also waiting to see if the state will do anything differently with that plan for the safety. But we also need a board member to serve on that, and Nancy has done it for 2 years. So I don't know if
You said it's consistent.
if somebody else would like to come. Those meetings are usually once a quarter, and they usually happen at 4 o'clock. I don't have the date set yet, but the first meeting probably will take place in September, and then quarterly thereafter. And they're 4 o'clock meetings. You don't have to give me, an answer today, but if you think about it when we talk about the safety plan at our next board meeting in August, we can come back to that. We have been looking at redesigning our website and also using a new platform for School Messenger. We've had a lot of issues with School Messenger this year, and they've been just things that have taken a great deal of time and not a lot of return for it. So we're replacing it with something called Parent Square, and we'd like to introduce you to Parent Square at our next meeting, just give you a quick demo and what that looks like as we work through the groundwork with that. At the same time, we were going to redesign our website, but right now, due to the uncertainty of where we'll be in the fall and knowing that we can't have a sign up on our website that says under construction, we decided to stick with the current website that we have. We have a lot of valuable information that has been used not only by staff and community and students, but other districts have looked to our website during COVID-19 for a lot of the resources that we've put out. And we feel like now is not the time to take that information away. We're gonna keep it there for the year, but know that as this year goes on, we're going to start working with Central New York Regional Information Center and design a new website that we hope to unveil next year. It would have happened now, probably without COVID, but with COVID, I think we're best to hold off on that. And the other thing that I wanted to have a discussion about is the Hall of Achievement. We have a committee set up and the committee has met and we had a deadline. But in kind of thinking about the current state of where we're at right now, wondering if we might be better off to push out the end result. We were going to do something in October, but not knowing right now, here it is July, not knowing, so many things are being canceled. The state fair was just canceled. And then if we have people that are recipients that need to come in from out of state and travel and such, if October would be the right time to do this. We're wondering if, and I'm just sharing with the board first, I haven't gone back to the committee at this point, but Randy Richardson has done a little conversation with a few of the community members and saying, is this really the appropriate time to do this, or should we kind of push it out? Should we post information and delay it until the spring? And perhaps even extend and maybe reopen up the nominations too. Of course, take all the nominations that have currently come in, but were we fair with COVID-19 and getting the amount of time that people may have needed? So I want to have that conversation with you to kind of in some direction on where do you think might be best for us just to go with this process.
Push it out.
I agree, especially, we don't know if the second wave is coming. Spring's better.
So we might even be able to do some things, in the past, years back, that maybe you can help me with this. I think it happened close to graduation, so that right before graduation, like in June, early June, there was an assembly at the high school and it was kind of a celebration and former graduates came back and the seniors got to see that, or even the high school kids all got to see, like, these people used to go to Watertown and look where they're at today. So I think if you look back in the history of the program, I don't know, you were a student here at one point, I don't know if you remember anything like that.
I do. I remember sitting in Case Auditorium and whoever won the Hall of Achievement actually came and spoke to us as 7th and 8th graders.
And I was never part of that, but I know that there was at least one year where it was in the Case gym and Honor Society students escorted the honorees and, the vocal group sang and so yeah, I mean, anything that includes more of the community but also presents those models to students is a good thing. I mean, it's been long enough since we did the last one, it's 6 more months.
I agree, I just wanted to make sure that we're
months.
okay with that before we just kind of put the brakes on that, but I feel like we need to do that at this point.
I mean, do you have a sense of, what the response was like, how many nominations?
Yeah.
20.
With 2020.
Oh, then I think definitely to have more time and to really get it publicized and to get some more nominees. I would like to think that there would be more than that.
Me too. Okay. I think that's it for me because I think the team's going to update you on some other things, so I won't steal their thunder.
Thank you. And Stacy, over to you.
So we're working, Kira and I have been working on end of year data reports and trying to just make sure that we have no errors in the system. So we should have some solid graduation and postgraduate plan data for you out of our search system, hopefully for next meeting. There was a delay in one of the reports from State Ed because they sent out some incorrect information. We just got an update about that today. So we'll work on making sure that everything is kosher and pushing it forward. We'll also have a report for you next meeting from our annual climate survey. We used the National School Climate Center to administer that survey this year to both students as well as staff and also parents. The return rate on the parent survey this year was really low. And I think it's because last year we administered it in paper form in some capacity, and this year we only did electronic. And I did provide that as feedback to the Climate Center, asking if in the future we could consider the possibility of paper-based and electronic survey. And they did take that and said they would let us know what their plan is in the future for administration. But I do think that had, all of the information coming at families right now electronically, it was just very easy to overlook it, or, a 20-minute survey is right now, I don't think high on people's priority lists, which is okay. But the reason that we administered it, we received notification in April that all of those ESSA requirements were suspended for the 1920 school year, but we had already paid the invoice to administer this as of January. So we decided that it was in our best interest to continue the administration of it. So I will have that data for you. And just looking at the preliminary results, the student information, which we tend to pay attention to quite a bit, is pretty interesting. So I'll share that with you next time. We're in the second day of summer school for our K-12 programs, also in the second day of STEM camp. And we've also are getting off later this week with some professional development opportunities for our staff. So right now, the participation rate in summer school is pretty good. We have some technology glitches, both at the high school and of course in getting Zoom to operate fully functional for some of our younger kids, but we're working through those. Our teachers have been really amazing and delivered materials to check in with families face to face. And so, have made some strides that way. Our STEM camp team also dropped off some really cool STEM kits, homemade tie-dye opportunities. They're going to share some robotic opportunities. We have some teaching assistants, Julie Williams and Lisa Gamage, who've done some really great videos to support our students at home in just doing STEM-based activities. So we're really excited to see the outcome and the feedback on those programs. That's it.
Thank you. Tina, over to you.
So dovetailing on the reentry plan, we're going to be meeting with our school doctors on July 15th. We have 2 nurses, Patty and myself. We'll be involved with a conference with them to continue our conversation. And I know a big part of those conversations lately have been what's it going to look like in the fall. So we're trying to be proactive there. So that'll be coming up, and that's been a great partnership with Samaritan. It's just been a wonderful partnership with them. Also, in that realm, the North Country Family Health Center has also they've been great partners as well. We met with them last week, and we actually did a switch in our high school clinic. So the space that they occupied is closer to our main office at the high school, so we actually are in that space now, the district, and then the clinic moved, the North Country Family Health Center moved to where we used to be. So that was a very smooth transition. Our maintenance staff was fantastic. We had a couple of nurses there to help out. The staff from North Country Family Health was there as well. So it went very smoothly, and we're still transitioning, but we're looking forward to that change. And along with that, I've visited a few of the clinics. We're trying to socially distance there as well and prepare for that. We went to the case clinic a couple of times. We have a plan in place there so that the main desk, when you walk in, the 2 folks sitting at the front desk are right next to each other. So we've come up with a plan there to separate the 2 folks there and also change the layout in that clinic. And again, it's been a team effort there. As you can see, you appointed several staff members. We've conducted several interviews over the last few weeks since our last meeting via Zoom. Thank goodness for Zoom in this day and age. We've had elementary teachers, technology positions, senior typists, our claims auditor, actually that one took place on site, and interviews for science teachers. And so we feel we have some very good candidates to teach our students in the fall and to work within the infrastructure of the district. And finally, we switched over to OLAS starting July 1st. So Lisa and I are getting our hands into OLAS and casting our net more widely across the state. So we're very excited there. We have a couple of openings, and Lisa was able to post. So I will keep the board updated on that. And it does a lot of things. It casts the net all over the state. We can get diverse populations. We can reach more diverse populations than what we are now. So we're excited about the prospect of OLAS, and we'll certainly keep an eye on the applicants there, and I'll keep the board apprised of that as well.
Thank you. Josh?
I emailed everyone there a couple weeks ago. Oppenheimer decided to get our band rated and by Moody's, and we did get the MIG 1, which was the highest possible short-term rating, which is great news. otherwise, just kinda, it's our busy time. We're working on closing out the year. Today, we received an email from New York State, so transparency report is now up and available online for us to start working on. That's due right before Labor Day. And hopefully can start working on that a little more after the audit, because we don't have our federal budgets yet, so we need those in order to really get that part done. And then, a couple weeks, we have the external audit.
Do we know anything about funding, like from New York State? Because we know that the cities, held 20% back, so
Yeah.
have they said anything for school districts yet?
Nothing yet, so we're just kind of waiting.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
All right, got some upcoming dates. Our next meetings are board retreat. We're gonna be looking at our strategic plan. So there's a hard copy right in your folders for you. And I did send out an email today about that, along with the digital copy if you prefer that. And then we've got two meetings in August, 4 o'clock for our times, all of those.
Including the retreat.
Including the retreat, yes.
Location to be determined, retreat?
Right now, it's probably gonna be here.
What in the time?
4. And I will need a motion for an executive session to discuss a personnel matter for a grievance, and we need to discuss a district staff member's evaluation and contract.
So moved.
Oh, thank you. Could I get a second?
Cody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Let's take a 5-minute break. Okay, could I have a motion to end the meeting, please?
Michael?
And a second?
Cody.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting ends at 6:24.